in a concert in Nottingham, in Art Exchange Center, and we had a gig here in Auto Cafe, like a lot.
We were talking earlier about in traditionally Egyptian musicians there's a band, but the band is in the background and the singer in the foreground. But your band is not like that. Every personality is really obvious on the stage. Is it something that you've always been doing, or is it something that you start to do now?
No, it's something all the bands in this time in Egypt are trying to do. But in Egypt or in the Middle East, our culture is more into the individuals, not about bands. So that's what we are trying to change now.
So you're the singer of Massar Egbari and the composer. How long have you been playing music professionally?
I think 12 years. 12 years.
بقيت غاوي في عز الجرح انا ما بكيش بقيت عارف اطلع من ضلوع الفقر لقمة عيش بقيت حاوي.
What made you decide as an architect that you'd like to become a musician?
Well, I love music. I didn't like the architecture the same. I like music, and I think I am a better musician than an architect.
Are you Egypt's only drummer policeman?
Yeah, I think that we have many police officers who got talent in something, but I don't think that they are expressing this in public like this. So, but we have many officers who writing lyrics, poems, playing music and composing music also, but they don't have the chance to diffuse it for the people. That's it.
So it's an unusual situation.
Yeah, yes.
Do you find it difficult to bring those two sides of your work together, art and being part of the police?
For me, it's not a problem because as a police officer, you have to work with people all the time, and I choose to work with horses. So this is more simple to do. So if you are going to work, to ride horses and act with horses and talk to horses, and so this is very nice to push you as a musician or an artist. That's it. So it's not, but the real fact that all the time you are on the both sides. You are in this community and you are in this community. So, and there is a conflict now in Egypt between those two communities. So maybe I'm trying to let each one of this community respect the other. That's it. So, of course, I think we need officers and we need artists. At the end, we need the both.
What were you influenced by as a young musician wanting to be a guitarist in a band? What made you sort of think, that's what I want?
Okay, I didn't mean that. It was only the talent, if I'm talented. And we were playing since we were too young. And I have been influenced by a great famous icon for any guitarist like David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits, Carlos Santana, and these famous musicians. So playing in a band and playing in a crowd on stage, it was like a dream. And we shared the dream together, me and Ayman and Tusi, since we were too young. And actually, not only me and Emre and Tusi. Then 15 years ago, I knew Hani the vocal of the band of Massar Egbari, and Ahmed Hafiz, the bass player. And we figured out that we have the same dream and we have the same desire to play on stage, but not it was not that simple only to play in a crowd or to hear the scream of the audience. I guess we felt that we have a message we need to deliver to the crowd, to this crowd.
Can you tell me about your work in the Alexandria Library?
Okay, after graduation from the art school in Alexandria, I worked as a potter for about 10 years. Then I went to the library 6 years from now, and I work as a curator and responsible for the permanent exhibitions that exhibit modern artwork, Egyptian modern artwork.
So what kind of things do they have in the Alexandria Library?
Well, Alexandria Library have a little bit from almost everything. We have an antiques museum, we have a planetarium, we have a manuscripts museum, research center, we have an internet archive, global internet archive. We do concerts, but the art center is probably responsible of half of the activities that, especially that interests people. We do music, theater, plastic art. That's about the library of Alexandria.
As the principal composer for Massar Egbari, what are you aiming for? What are you looking for in your compositions, and what perhaps are you influenced by?
I'm looking for to mix two sounds together. The British rock, because I used to listen to Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, and also Said Darwish. He's a famous composer in Egypt. He died maybe 80 years or 90 years ago. So I'm trying to mix these two stuff together and create the sound of Massar Egbari.
What is it special about Said Darwish that you think is still relevant after almost 100 years?
Actually, he's the one who turned the music from Turkish into Egyptian. His lyrics is very simple. You can feel the beat of the streets, you know. And also, as a composer in the music, he is so simple and very Egyptian. So he is one of his kind.
You were telling me you have a project and you're making festivals and things. Can you tell me a bit about the Agora project?
Yeah, okay, in the 18 days of the revolution in Egypt, we were sitting at home all the time, me and my wife, and she had a dream to have a cultural organization. And so I have the dream to let simple people know about arts. So she decided to make an Agora. And to make an organization to help people to know about culture and arts. And so me, I'm working with people also in the streets before, and I'm a musician and I'm an artist. So collecting people to do something together, it wasn't that easy. But for saying to people, come and see what are we doing, we know. Maybe I know how you can get people, how we can talk to people to get them.
Can you tell us something about your Egyptian influences and the world of Egyptian music that you grew up in. Tell me something about the Egyptian guitar.
We couldn't call or use that term. The Egyptian guitar is guitar, but there was a few names in Egypt like Nazir, the very famous Egyptian guitarist, and Nazir. He died actually. They were some names that we influenced by, but actually still we are not copying the way they are playing. We practice on their tracks, we practice on their solos, and then we have something different and something new. It's the mix which happening inside us. The same when I listen to David Gilbert or Aziz Nasr. Okay, there is something third. There is a third part. It's me, and this mix is happening all the time to reduce something new.
Currently, we see in the news that Egypt is having an internal conflict between Islamist, or let's say religious, and secularists. And what is the position of the library? How does the library operate within this conflicting situation?
Well, I don't want to believe that there is big borders between the two opposites. Somehow the library is something of the Egyptians and the world. It's an international institute, and it's the Alexander Library. It's for the Alexandrians. Yes, there is some division here and there, to the right, to the left, but till now trying to keep it as something for Egyptians to spread knowledge, because a lot of issues cannot be classified. The planetarium, for example, the workshops, the science for workshops, the art as well. Yes, but till now it's not independent, but it's established institute, and it's have its central role in Alexandria, and I hope that we can continue in our in what we are doing in the library.
So we talk about contemporary Egyptian music, and when I'm listening to you, I can hear stuff that, to me, I understand that you're taking it from, Anglo-American rock, but there's also stuff that I understand is completely not Western. How do you see this bringing together?
It's not. We didn't mean to make this. It's about the inputs we have. We have an Oriental background, and at the same time we all listen to rock and jazz and blues. So when we make music, it's a mixture between both. And this is a privilege for us in the Middle East, that we have two kinds of music we can mix together.
How you've been touring as well into different places. I mean, how does that? How do you come by doing that, and how does that feel as an Egyptian band?
Actually, I feel we are Alexandrian band more than Egyptian, because we are all from Alexandria on the Mediterranean, so we have a lot of relations with the other side of the Mediterranean. And when we started the band, we had a French friend who gathered us. We all know each other from maybe 25 years, but the French friend was the one to help us to play together. And we had in the band a Spanish singer, the French trumpet player, and French guitarist, so it was multicultural. And since we started, we had this idea to play our music with others, or to other audiences in Europe, in the States, in Africa, in Asia.
So that's interesting, the idea that Alexandria is an identity.
Yeah.
So what is the Alexandrian identity?
It's more cosmopolitan.
And going back now to Saeed Darwish, who, as you said, was extremely instrumental in transforming Egyptian music from Turkish influence to something authentically Egyptian. What do you think, as musician and composer, do you think that you can contribute to this transformative process?
Well, I hope I can do this. But right now we have the internet, and we have the world music, and we have so much influences from every country or every culture. So I think the world became so small, and right now we can go to England, to London, to play our music in Arabic. I hope we can do something like Said Darwish, of course, to change the music to an Egyptian music. So whenever someone hear our music, he will know that they are Egyptian. I hope we can do this, of course.
Your relationship with Massar Egbari goes back, in terms of personal relationships, a really long way. Can you, first of all, talk about that relationship with Massar Egbari and with the Egyptian music scene that you grew up in?
I know Massar Egbari as members before the existence of the band. I knew them as, some of them as non-musicians. They were not yet musicians, they were young musicians, and I knew others as part of previous bands. We all came from the same city, and many of us studied in the same art school.
So now that Massar Egbari is in London, they've played a gig, you jammed with them on your drum, Terboka, and there's going to be projects, you're hoping to make projects and exchanges and brainstorming, I think it was yesterday, about what can happen in the future. Talk about that.
I'm very happy to meet the guys. You know, I've been here in England for 11 years, and since I came to England, my occasional encounter with them is either listening to the records online or going and watching film while they are in it. But there wasn't any immediate contact for over 11 years. I'm very excited about seeing them here. The concert on Friday was a very special moment to me. I never claimed musicianship, but I wanted to be on a stage with them, to just be with them like old friend. And in previous bands in which some of the members were members of, I worked as a designer. I think that the Egyptian identity is very strong, but it's lost. It's not destroyed, it's just lost. And for the Egyptians to find it, they have to stop and acknowledge that whatever they fight about now, some kind of different fake identities, it's time to leave it and try to find the search of the common identity that's somehow there but lost. And us as a generation, coming through art or whatever means we have to project the identity through ourselves rather than making it, because it's in us, we're helping others to go on the same path, to be reminded of what does it mean to be Egyptian artist, specifically Alexandrian artist.
أنا هويت وانتهيت وليه بقى لوم العزول
So we're just at the end of your first gig together in London, a couple of days in London. Did you have a good time?
Yes.
What was the best thing that you found about London?
The screaming.
And what was the worst thing?
The cold. No, but actually we brought our son with us, you know, from Egypt.
Yes.
So what are your plans now? You're going back to Egypt. What's the next thing you're going to do? What do you hope to do?
Planning to come again, yes.
Yeah, planning for many projects. Yes.
Thinking of trying to manage to record our new album here, to make more concerts here. You can find any kind of international music in London, in Europe, but it's rare to find Egyptian contemporary music, so we're trying to make this.
I think the gig the other night, certainly the Cafe Otto and the people that were there seemed to be really ready for more of that.
Yes, we hope so.
So you're thinking about recording here in London, and when do you think you might like to do that? This year?
I think this year. We're planning to work on the second album very soon. The first album will be released during this week, so we have to prepare for the second one.
Okay.
Maybe 1 month or 2 months we will do this. We will record the album, and we were thinking of recording here in London.
I think recording here, our style of music will give in England it will give a very good influence on our music, especially in the production, the new trends in production.
Yeah, the sound production here, we think that it's different. It's really original. So, as this, we thought that this is the country of rock, and so this is our influences in our music. So, we think that planning to record here the next album in London and using this kind of original voice will be better to make something new for the Egyptian audience also.
And I suppose it's also about sort of staying fresh and developing yourselves as a group. You know, keeping the excitement going.
Thank you.
Sure.
So Naz, how does it feel to be back with your old sort of posse?
Crazy! I can't wait to see the back of them. I'm just really happy to see the guys, and we talked about a lot of possibilities for future collaboration, things to happen here and things to happen hopefully in Alexandria. There's a lot of things to be discussed through, but we made a starter, and I think I'll be doing my best to find them the best way to record their coming album in London in the coming few months. If I can do that, I'll be very happy.
Well, it's really great to have you guys sitting in Studio 75, which is small, but I have to say there's been some things going on.
We are honored. Actually, we are honored. Thank you, Nazir.
We love you, Nazir.
We love you.
We love you.
So you're going back to the warm weather.
Yes.
Okay, well,
It's gonna be hot and fire comparing to the weather in London.
Well, I'm going to wish you bon voyage and have a really great trip back.
Thank
And
you.
I'm expecting to see you guys again really soon.
Thank you so much. The same for us.
Thank you.
Okay, then get up.
Okay.
So how do you feel when you get up on stage and you get to play that first solo of the night?
Orgasm. Yes.